Hey everyone, welcome to English Pod, where we make learning English fun with How I Met Your Mother. In this series, I'll break down keywords, slang, idioms, and cultural references from each episode to help you improve your English naturally. Watch before or after the episode to boost your understanding. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's dive in.
Let's see if we can pull out some grammar lessons from a sitcom.
Yeah, we're always talking about how grammar shapes communication in stories. Well, here's a fun example you might not expect.
Right, it's not just about dry rules. It's about how these things function in the wild, in a show we all know and love.
Exactly. So, we're going to look at some specific lines and moments from the episode and unpack how different grammar structures are at work.
So think of this as like a behind-the-scenes look at the language of the show.
Okay, let's jump right in. One thing you'll notice is how often the show uses the past continuous tense to set the scene.
Okay, so was pleasant sore plus a verb ending in elding, right? What's the big deal about that? Why is it so useful?
Well, it's all about creating a backdrop for another event. It's about an action that was already in progress when something else happened.
Okay, I'm seeing it now. So like when Ted says, I was carving pumpkins when she showed up.
That's a perfect example. That was carving. It's not just stating a fact, it's painting a picture of Ted in the middle of this activity and then boom, Slutty Tumpkin arrives.
Right, it's like we can almost see him there with the pumpkin, all the tools around him.
And it creates a sense of anticipation too, like we're waiting for her to show up. And the past continuous helps build that up.
That's cool. It adds so much to a simple sentence.
Absolutely. Now, another tense that pops up a lot, especially with Ted, is the present perfect.
Okay, remind me, have or has plus the past participle.
You got it. And it's used for actions that started in the past but continue into the present or have some kind of connection to the present.
Got it. So like Ted's yearly quest for the slutty pumpkin.
Exactly. His line, I've been going to that party every year hoping to find her. That's present, perfect in action. It emphasizes the ongoing nature of his search. It's been years.
And all those years are connected to this current moment where he's still hoping, right?
Exactly. It adds this weight to his determination. It's not just a one-time thing. It's a long-running saga, and that makes it even funnier.
I see it. It's like the grammar is adding to the humor.
It totally is. Now, another structure that's crucial in storytelling, especially in comedies, is the first conditional.
Ah, if I see her, I'll finally ask for her number. Classic Ted.
Classic. So that's if plus the present simple, then will, plus the base verb. It's used for talking about real possibilities in the future, things that could actually happen depending on what happens first.
It's like a cause and effect kind of thing, right?
Exactly. And it creates this sense of anticipation. If this happens, then that will happen. It keeps the audience engaged and wondering what's going to happen next.
And for Ted, it's all about that little glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, this year will be different.
Right. And that hope, that anticipation, that's all part of what makes the story so compelling, even if it's a funny story.
Totally makes sense. Now let's talk about those little words that pack a punch. I noticed might popping up quite a bit.
Ah, yes, might. And its friends could, must. These are modals of possibility, and they're all about showing how certain or uncertain we are about something.
So like when Ted says, she might not even remember me.
Perfect example. That might throws in a whole layer of doubt, doesn't it? It shows that Ted's not really sure what's going to happen, and that makes his situation more relatable. We've all been there.
Totally. That one little word changes the whole tone of the sentence.
It's powerful stuff, right? And then we have those handy phrases that help us add information without making things too clunky. I'm talking about relative clauses.
Oh yeah, like the girl who wore the pumpkin costume?
Precisely. So that's noun plus who or that or which, and then the rest of the clause. It's a way of giving us more information about a noun without having to start a whole new sentence.
So in this case, we know exactly which girl Ted is talking about. It's not just any girl. It's the one with the awesome costume.
And that's important, right? It makes the story clear and specific. Imagine if he just kept saying the girl, we'd be lost.
Definitely. So relative clauses, they're like little information ninjas sneaking in the details.
I like that analogy. And last but not least, let's talk about reported speech.
Okay, so this is when we're like summarizing what someone else said, right? Like instead of quoting them directly.
You got it. And it often involves a little tense shift. So, I met a girl at the party becomes Ted said he met a girl at the party.
Oh, right, because we're reporting something that happened in the past.
Exactly. And this is super useful for storytelling because it keeps things moving. We don't have to hear every single word of every conversation.
It's like a condensed version that still gets the point across.
Exactly. And it lets the narrator or the characters give us the important information without getting bogged down in dialogue.
So as you can see, even in a lighthearted show like How I Met Your Mother, all these grammar structures are working hard behind the scenes.
They really are. And it's fascinating to see how they contribute to the humor, the storytelling, the emotional impact of the show.
It's like grammar is the secret ingredient that makes it all work.
I love that. So next time you're watching your favorite show, or even just having a conversation, pay attention to those little grammar choices. And for this episode, we're gonna pull our examples from a really fun source.
Okay.
Season 1, episode 6
All right.
of How I Met Your Mother,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
which, if you're a fan, you know, is the Slutty Pumpkin episode.
Oh, the Slutty Pumpkin episode.
So it's a Halloween episode, and
I remember that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so we're gonna look at some of the phrases that come up in that episode,
Okay.
and try to understand like what are they really saying? What are the meanings behind these everyday expressions?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because it's like we use them all the time. We don't think about it.
Yeah,
There's got to be some deeper meaning to them, right?
exactly.
Like, what are the building blocks here?
Yeah, so let's jump right in with
Okay.
one that comes up
Okay.
fairly early on in the episode, and that's hang out.
Hang out. Yeah.
So in this case, Ted decides to hang out on the roof,
Oh, yeah.
hoping that the slutty pumpkin will show up there.
Right, right.
So seems like a pretty basic one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Just means to spend time relaxing, maybe being social.
Yeah.
What do you think is the real takeaway here when we say hang out?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because it doesn't have I feel like it kind of implies like there's no structure.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Like, you're not going to hang out and like have a business meeting or something like that.
exactly. It's not like we're gonna hang out and then go to the opera.
Right, right, exactly. It's like let's just like be together,
Right.
you know, and just see what happens. Like
Exactly.
enjoy each other's presence.
Just being together. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a real looseness to it.
Yeah. It's like prioritizing that presence
Yeah.
over having some kind of
Agenda.
agenda. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
So, okay, so that's hangout. Let's move on to another one.
All right.
This one pretty straightforward, but I think still worth talking about.
Okay.
Dressed up.
Dressed up. All right.
So obviously, you know, in the context of a Halloween party, everyone is dressed up.
Of course. Yeah.
So wearing a costume or, you know, fancy clothes.
Uh-huh.
But what's the significance of even having this phrase? Like, what is it telling us?
Well, I think it kind of speaks to like, you know, how we present ourselves, like
Yeah.
our everyday selves versus this like,
Right.
you know, heightened version.
It's like a deliberate shift.
Yeah, it's a deliberate shift, right?
Yeah.
Like we're putting on a costume,
Right.
literally in this case, you know.
Yeah.
But it could be, you know, getting really dressed up for, you know, a wedding,
Right.
or a job interview, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, anything that's
Yeah.
that's outside the norm. Yeah. And there's that sense of occasion.
Yeah.
Like when you dress up, it's like, okay, we're marking this
Yeah,
as something
so-
special.
so-
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so that's dressed up. Let's move on to one that I think a
Right,
lot
so
of people will be familiar with.
Right.
And that is play it cool.
Play it cool. Oh yeah,
So this is Barney's.
classic Barney.
Yeah, this is Barney's constant advice to Ted.
Right.
Whenever he sees, you know, a girl he likes or
Right. Someone he's interested in.
yeah, someone he's interested in,
Yeah.
you know, play it cool.
Right.
Right. So meaning basically to act calm,
Yeah.
don't show any strong emotions.
Like you're not phased.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not like super, you know, excited or nervous,
Yeah.
or you're just like cool.
Yeah, just chill.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the kind of the strategy behind this?
Well, I think it's a lot about like, you know, not being too
Eager?
eager, right? Or too,
Yeah.
you know, like I said, nervous, or
Whatever. It's like putting up this
like you've got it all under control.
yeah, you've got it all under control.
Yeah.
You're not going to let your emotions get the better of you.
Right.
But I think that's also where it gets a little tricky.
Oh, totally.
Because it's like, when is it just being, you know, too calculated?
Right. Like how much is
Right. How much of it is genuine versus
it's his performance.
yeah, performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the fine lines,
Yep,
right?
it's that fine line, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's play cool. Let's move on to another one. This one.
Okay.
This one is give up.
Give up.
Okay. So in this case, Ted refuses to give up on finding the slutty pumpkin.
He's determined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his mindset on it.
Right.
So give up, pretty straightforward, meaning to stop trying.
Yeah.
But what does it really tell us about determination when we say somebody gave up or somebody refused to give up?
Well, I mean, I think it only has meaning in the face of some kind of obstacle.
Right.
You know, it's like if something is easy,
You're not going to give up because it's like,
Right.
it's already done.
Right. You just do it.
You just do it. But it's when there's a challenge
Right.
that the idea of giving up even comes up.
Right. And so refusing to give up means you're overcoming that.
Exactly. Yeah. You're pushing through
Yeah.
the resistance.
So it really highlights that persistence.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
And the desire to kind of overcome
Yeah.
whatever that hurdle is.
Even if the objective is a little bit
Silly,
Whimsical.
whimsical. Yeah.
in this case, right?
But it speaks to like something deeper,
Yeah.
right? About human nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's keep moving here.
Sure.
We've got keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. All right.
So in this case, Lily says that she'll keep an eye out for the slutty pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
So meaning basically to watch for a specific person or thing.
Yeah.
What do you think is kind of the key element here when we talk about keeping an eye out for something? Well, it suggests you're not just passively waiting.
Right.
It's like you're actively
Yeah.
looking, you're being vigilant.
Yeah, like a little more intentional.
Yes, definitely more
Yeah,
intentional.
right.
Yeah, you've got a goal in mind and you're like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be on the lookout for this thing.
Yeah, it's like being a detective in your own life.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one we're going to look at here
Okay.
is show up.
Show up.
So the big question of the night
Yeah.
is the slutty pumpkin going to show up?
Is you gonna make an appearance?
So meaning to appear or arrive somewhere?
Right.
But why is this such a kind of loaded phrase?
Well, I mean, because showing up is
yeah.
like a commitment. You're saying like, I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna be present.
Right.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
And there's that potential for,
right.
things to unfold.
For things to happen.
Yeah, interactions,
And the fact that we don't know whether the slutty pumpkin is going to show up creates that,
suspense.
that anticipation.
Anticipation, yeah.
So there you have it. 6 seemingly simple phrases.
Yeah.
Hang out, dressed up, play it cool, give up, keep an eye out, and show up.
All from one episode.
All from one sitcom episode.
Yeah.
And yet, look at all this.
I know, right?
Like, look at all these layers of meaning.
It's amazing.
It's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
And it makes you think, like,
Totally.
how many other phrases do we use
Yeah.
every day without even thinking?
On time, right?
And what are they really saying?
Yeah, what are those little unspoken
Yeah.
meanings?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So
It is, it is.
I hope this has given everyone something to think about and
Yeah.
keep an ear out
Keep your ear out
for these
for those little nuggets.
those little nuggets in your own conversations.
Exactly.
And so
Let's dive in.
let's dive in. So our first word
Okay.
is hypothermia.
Hypothermia.
And the episode defines hypothermia as a medical condition where body temperature falls too low.
Okay.
And they give the example, she almost got hypothermia wearing that tiny costume in the cold. So right away, we're thinking about Halloween costumes.
Right.
And the fact that it's cold on Halloween.
It's usually cold on Halloween.
Yeah. 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 And it's funny because, like sometimes people will really commit to a costume
Oh, yeah.
and not think about the practicalities
Absolutely not.
of, being cold.
Fashion over function,
Exactly.
especially on Halloween.
Especially on Halloween.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really interesting word to start with.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, too, because,
Yeah.
it sort of foreshadows, the idea that,
Yeah.
sometimes these pursuits, these romantic pursuits, can be a little cold and harsh.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like out in the elements,
Yeah.
waiting for this girl in the cold.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. So our next word is costume.
Okay.
Costume is defined as clothes worn to look like someone or something else, especially for Halloween.
Naturally.
And of course, the example is Ted wore a hanging Chad costume to the Halloween party.
Oh, yeah. One of the all-time great costumes.
So good. Yeah, and of course, we can't forget about Marshall as a pirate.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like a
Yeah.
recurring...
So that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these costumes, they're funny, but it's like, what are they telling us about the characters?
Right. Well, I think costumes are always kind of a way for people to express something about themselves that they might not normally express.
Yeah, like Ted's costume is super topical
Yeah.
and a little
A
awkward.
little awkward. Yeah.
Whereas Marshall's costume is just
Yeah.
this fun-loving,
Yeah.
he just wants to have a good time.
Yeah. He's just having fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to think about how costumes
Mhm.
can reveal things about people.
Yeah.
Okay, so our third word is rejection.
Okay.
And reject the act of refusing someone or something.
All right.
And the example is, Barney didn't handle rejection well when the girl walked away.
Classic Barney.
Oh, yeah. Classic Barney moment. And it's funny because, even though he's not looking for the slutty pumpkin,
Right.
like,
He's got other pursuits. Yeah, but, he's still
still afraid of rejection.
afraid of rejection. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that that's something that a lot of people can relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah.
it's like this vulnerability
Right.
that like even the most confident characters have to deal with,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
All right, so our fourth word is obsession.
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 Uh-huh.
And it's defined as an idea or person that someone thinks about constantly.
Constantly.
And the example, of course, is Ted's obsession with the slutty pumpkin made his friends worry.
Right.
And-
We've all known someone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of an obsession.
Yeah, a little bit obsessed with something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is interesting because, it's like,
Yeah.
is it cute or is it creepy?
Right.
Like, is he just like
Right.
romantically pursuing this, or is he like,
Yeah, it's a little too much.
yeah, a little stalkerish?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. All right. So the fifth word is tradition.
Okay.
Tradition, a custom or belief passed down over time.
Right.
And the example is Ted's Halloween tradition was to wait on the roof for the slutty pumpkin.
On the roof.
Every year.
Yeah, and I think this speaks to like,
Uh-huh.
we all have our traditions,
Yeah.
whether they're big or small,
Right.
and sometimes they're a little absurd.
Sometimes, yeah.
But, there are traditions.
They give us comfort.
Yeah, they give us comfort. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think for Ted, this tradition
Yeah.
represents hope.
Right.
Like, he's hoping that
Yeah.
she's going to show up.
Yeah, even though logically maybe she won't.
Yeah.
He's still holding on to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So our next word is patience.
Patience.
The ability to wait calmly without getting angry or upset.
Okay.
And the example is Ted showed a lot of patience waiting every year for that girl.
Yes.
Years of patience.
Wow.
I mean,
That's true dedication.
it's dedication.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like,
Yeah.
where does that patience come from? What is he holding on to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of leads us into our next word, which is hope.
Hope. Okay.
A feeling of expectation and desire for something good to happen.
Right.
And the example is he held on to the hope that he'd meet the slutty pumpkin again.
Yeah.
And I think that hope
Mm-hmm.
is like the core.
It's the fuel.
It's the fuel, yeah, of this episode and
Yeah.
this whole story.
Definitely.
And I think it's fueled by memory, our eighth word.
Okay. Memory.
Something remembered from the past.
Right.
And the example is the memory of that Halloween night stayed with Ted for years.
Powerful.
Yeah, it's like this one encounter
Uh-huh.
that he had with this girl
Yeah.
has like shaped
Years of his life.
years of his life. Yeah, I mean, think about that.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do we
Yeah.
think back on something that happened and it
Yeah.
like influences our actions even years later?
Totally. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, so our ninth word is effort.
Effort it.
Hard work or energy used to do something.
Right.
And the example is Ted put a lot of effort into recreating the same Halloween look.
Right.
So, he's not just like sitting around hoping.
Yeah.
He's like actively,
He's making moves.
he's trying to make it happen. Yeah.
putting in the work.
He's putting in the effort.
Yeah.
And finally, we have disguise,
Okay.
something worn to hide your identity.
Right.
And the example is Marshall was in a silly disguise as a pirate.
Of course. Of course.
And so, this is just like a fun,
A fun little.
a fun element
Yeah.
of the episode, but it also like
Mhm.
ties back into this idea of like,
Of Halloween.
Halloween and,
And costume.
and costumes and like
yeah.
the different ways that people
Yeah.
present themselves.
Spin on themselves. Yeah.
So there you have it.
Wow.
10 words from the Slutty Pumpkin episode of How I Met Your Mother. Met Your Mother, the episode called Slutty Pumpkin.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys sent in a ton of stuff about all the cultural references in this episode.
It's a good one.
So basically, we're going to take all your explanations of all these little jokes and references and try to figure out what they tell us about American culture in general and the way that stories are told here.
Sounds like fun.
So, where should we start? I guess,
Wow.
oh yeah, Hanging Chad.
Hanging Chad. Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be one of the most like specific references
For sure.
in this episode. So, for anyone who needs a refresher, This term, like, blew up during the 2000 U.S. presidential election.
Yeah, the whole Bush versus Gore thing.
Exactly. It was all about those little pieces of paper on the ballots that, like, weren't fully detached. And it caused this whole huge recount controversy.
It's a mess.
Oh, yeah. And so Ted's running around in this hanging Chad costume every Halloween, and somehow it's funny.
Well, you know, it's funny because we all remember that crazy election.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this shared kind of absurd memory.
Right. You had to be there.
Yeah. Or at least know the story to get the joke.
Exactly. It's so tied to that specific time and place.
Yep. Cultural humor for sure.
Okay, so then there's the slutty pumpkin herself,
Ah, yes, the legend.
which is just what it sounds like, you know, it's a pumpkin costume. But,
a little more revealing,
yeah.
shall we say.
It's definitely playing with the idea of, like, what's acceptable to wear.
Right, and that's interesting because Halloween in the U.S. is all about, like, bending those rules a little bit.
Yeah, just for one night, though.
Exactly. It's like a temporary break from the norm.
It's kind of cool when you think about it.
Yeah. Definitely a unique part of American culture.
Okay, so then there's Ted and his whole knight in shining armor thing.
Oh, yeah. Classic Ted.
He's so determined to be this, like, perfect romantic hero.
Well, it's a powerful image, right? It's like this classic trope that pops up in stories everywhere.
For sure, from, like, old legends to modern rom-coms, it's always there.
Exactly. And I think Ted really buys into that whole ideal of, like, rescuing the damsel in distress.
Makes you wonder why that idea is so popular.
I know, right? What does that say about us?
Deep stuff.
For sure.
Okay, moving on. Robin dresses up as something representing Canada in this episode.
Right, which makes sense because she's Canadian,
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward reference to her background.
but it also kind of plays on the whole U.S.-Canada relationship. You know, it's like a little nod to their differences.
Right, and it's funny because it's not like a mean-spirited joke, it's just like a gentle ribbing.
Exactly, just a bit of fun with their neighborly dynamic.
I like that.
Me too.
Okay, Marshall goes as Tigger, which is pretty much the opposite of subtle.
Yeah. Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Just pure childhood energy.
Right. It's like impossible not to know who Tigger is.
Yeah, it's one of those characters that's just like universally recognized.
Exactly. Everyone loves Tigger.
Okay, and last but not least, we have Lily and Marshall, who are the classic high school sweethearts.
Ah, yes. Another classic trope.
It's like this ultimate ideal of long-lasting love, you know? Starting young and staying together forever.
Yeah, it's super romantic and sentimental.
And it's definitely something that pops up a lot in American stories.
Absolutely. It's a big part of our cultural understanding of romance.
So there you have it, folks. Even a sitcom episode like this is packed with these little cultural references.
Yeah, it's amazing how much they reveal about our values and beliefs.
Seriously, from political jokes to romantic ideals to beloved children's characters, it's all there.
It really makes you think about how these references shape our understanding of the world.
We're going to be taking a close look at the How I Met Your Mother episode, Season 1, Episode 6,
Okay.
Slutty Pumpkin.
Ah, yes.
And it's going to be like your cheat sheet to understanding some really surprising stuff about things like hope and the way we act socially.
Okay.
And even what our choices on Halloween can tell us about ourselves.
Interesting.
So our mission here is to just unpack all the good stuff from this one episode.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it really is amazing, right, how much just one sitcom episode can show us about how we all act when we are looking forward to something or maybe hoping to make a connection.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like we're using this episode as a way to look at some very human behaviors.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's focus on Ted, shall we?
Sure.
This guy, for 4 years, he puts on the same hanging Chad costume,
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
goes to the same rooftop party every year, all because of one quick meeting with a woman in a pumpkin costume.
Wow.
That is some serious commitment to the idea of fate, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you have to have some belief in fate to keep that up for 4 years.
And this ongoing mission of his to find her again.
Right.
It really makes you think about all those times you've hoped for a certain thing to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe even after just a quick connection with someone.
Yeah, those moments that stick with you.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder why the mind latches onto that one moment and just builds this whole story around it.
That's a great point.
That first good impression, even if you barely talk to the person, it could really create this strong expectation that lasts.
Uh-huh.
Why do we do that, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe it's because we all want to feel like there's a good story.
Okay.
Like a sense that things are meant to be.
A sense of destiny.
Exactly. Destiny. But, all right, let's switch gears for a second.
Okay.
We have Marshall and Lily, super comfy in their couple costumes, right?
Yes.
At a party that is clearly meant for single people.
Totally.
Immediately awkward.
Oh, yeah. You can feel it.
So relatable, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it highlights how, depending on who we're with and the situation we're in, our comfort level socially can really change.
It shows how different people's goals can clash at social events, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Marshall and Lily, they're safe and secure in their relationship.
Uh-huh.
But everyone else there is probably looking for something totally different.
For sure.
Makes Ted's super focused goals stand out even more.
Right. And then you have Barney, who's all about never wearing the same costume twice.
Of course.
Classic Barney, right?
Absolutely.
He's totally trying to pull Ted away,
Uh-huh.
convinced that there are better, more exciting things happening somewhere else.
I mean, the guy even changes his own costume a bunch of times throughout the episode.
He does.
It's the exact opposite of Ted's unwavering focus.
Yeah, constantly chasing the new thing. Right. What does Barney's approach tell us then?
I think it shows that not everyone cares about those deep connections at social events.
Okay.
For him, it's all about having fun right now and having lots of different experiences.
Immediate gratification.
Exactly. And the way he keeps changing costumes really shows that visually.
And then we have Robin, who is on a date.
Rest.
Supposed to be about connecting, right? But
Yeah.
then she starts realizing that she might not even want a serious relationship.
It's true. It adds a whole other dimension to the episode.
It does.
It shows how, even at the same event, people can be dealing with all sorts of different things emotionally.
It's a good point. So Robin's storyline is basically telling us that it's not just about what's happening around us when we socialize, it's also about what's happening inside us.
And whether we're actually ready to connect with someone.
Makes you wonder how often we're really on the same page as the people we're interacting with.
Right.
But back to Ted.
Okay.
He sticks it out all night.
Yeah.
The slutty pumpkin never shows up.
Nope.
But even then, he still seems convinced that they're meant to meet again.
It's a really interesting unfinished ending.
Very much so.
I think the fact that it's not wrapped up neatly makes it even more impactful.
How so?
Well, it keeps that idea of hope hanging there.
Uh-huh.
And it makes us think about how we react when things don't go as planned.
Like, is he being overly hopeful? Or is there something more to it?
Exactly.
So we've got Ted with his intense hope.
Yes?
Barney and Marshall and Lily with their totally different ways of approaching a social gathering.
Right.
And Robin struggling with her feelings about relationships.
And it all takes place over one Halloween.
Wow.
You know, this episode really does capture all the different things that can motivate us and all the different experiences you can have at any social event.
Uh-huh.
Everyone is there with their own unique wants and hopes.
So true. Okay, so here's something for you to think about.
All right.
Think about Ted, Marshall, Lily, Barney, and Robin. Each one has their own way of dealing with this Halloween party and the possibility of meeting someone.
Got it.
What do you think their choices tell us about what they truly care about
Okay.
and what they believe about relationships?
Interesting.
And think about yourself for a second.
Right.
Whose approach is most like yours when you're out in a social situation?
Food for thought.
Exactly.
I like it.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Wow, that went fast.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
It was great to be here.
Always a pleasure.
I'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning new words, phrases, grammar, and cultural references from How I Met Your Mother. I'll be back with the next lesson soon. Until then, bye.